see and hear you, and me too. Hey, everybody. Welcome in. Guys, you're here for Highlight Heroes.
Hello.
Featuring...
You're going to say it right. I believe
Aeipathea.
Aeipathea. Very close.
It's the middle syllable. It's the...
Aeipathea. It's my dyslexic ass attempting to do anything remotely unique. Anyway, yeah, we're here with Aeipathea, and we're going to tell you more about that individual in a second. But first, Parker, how you doing?
I'm good. I forgot this was our bit. I honestly was just kind of like, hello.
Hi. Hello.
I'm juggling a bunch of things. My week's been real busy, so I'm happy to be here to just chill.
This is going to be a super mellow one? Is this just going to be like...
Mm-hmm.
I like mellow. Okay. Well, Aeipathea, Abby... I'm going to accentuate it way too much to get it in my mind. Abby, who are you and what do you do? Introduce yourself to the people.
Okay, I am Abby and I do so many things. I play D&D, I cosplay, I illustrate. You can find me basically anywhere on the internet as Aeipathea, and then also over at Starlight Tales every Saturday playing a tiefling druid. It's a good time.
That's awesome.
That's also like
awesome.
a pirate campaign, isn't it? It's like a sea campaign.
It is.
Yeah.
We are space pirates. It's a very good time.
Ooh, that's very exciting. Yeah, I swing by every once in a while, stick my head in there. That's very cool. Amazing. Well, we're really excited to have you, Abby. And the audience and us are going to learn hopefully a bunch about you. But first, Parker and I are going to do announcements. Because that's what everybody's really here for, right?
Yeah,
is the
for
announcements.
sure. The announcement section.
Yeah. Okay, Parker, over to you.
Okay, hello. Thanks for being here. Our next programs this week are Friday and Saturday. We have Off the Rails and Conundrum Company with no programming this Sunday. If you want to check out the entire month of programming, it's now on our Instagram at the very beginning of the month. You can see every single date. You can put it in your calendars. You can hang out with us. Yes. So that's next week. The following week, we have Friday, Saturday as well. And then on it, oh my gosh, that is the next week. The 24th is Cosplay Ground. And I think this is the first time we're announcing it here. But I'll be jamming. So,
woo!
Hello, Highlight Heroes. You get to know first.
We also have Evers on the 20th.
Oh, yes,
Since
thank
we're doing
you.
That long stretch.
Yes, the long stretch. We have the 20th as well. And then we have community events. We have finally picked when we're doing our community event. So that'll be November 7th, I believe it will be airing. So come watch Conundrum Babies, which is the one that you guys funded with your tweet token. On to you, Josh.
I am very hyped that you're going to be DMing, Parker, or GMing.
GMing, yeah.
Dungeons & Dragons proprietarily owns DM. But anyway, very excited for that. Beautiful. Hey, and none of this amazing content could happen without our awesome sponsors. The first of whom is Gooey Cube. That's right. I did. Azur said it in chat. I did it for him. He said it a few days ago. It was for him.
What?
I gotta keep them on their toes. I think it was Azur. It was Azur or Alec. One of the mods was like, "Who doing this?" Look, I screwed up Alec too. Oh.
You're just doing it so you'll screw them up, aren't you?
Fight me, mods! Fight me! Guys, Gooey Cube, the gooeyest of cube companies, they make a whole supplemental world for Dungeon Masters, Game Masters to use at their tabletops, completely built from the ground up. If you don't have time to build your own world, you can use Gooey Cube. The link is in chat now. And, of course, we have Skull Splitter Dice, because they own my voice when I do that, actually. So, Skull Splitter Dice, not only do they sponsor our amazing programming, they also sponsor a dice giveaway that you can get on during our campaigns. We're not running it today, obviously, because it's not a campaign session, but you should go click on the link in chat and check out their products. They're very good, and we love them very much. So those are our amazing sponsors. Of course, check out the Tweaky, the Twee Wikipedia, whole bunch of show information in there. I'm getting angry messages in chat, private chats from the mods. I've chosen today to be feisty, but check out our Twee Wiki. We really like it. It's awesome. Of course, don't forget, we are running our Inktober fan art contest. You can send in your artwork to askthewelcomein@gmail.com for Conundrum Company and Off the Rails, both those campaigns. Show us your fan art, and get in there for a chance to win some very cool swag. Parker's coordinating that gift bag. It's very neat. There's dice bags and all kinds of stuff, so we highly recommend you check it. Last but not least, we want to talk about our charity really quick. This month, we'd like to focus our donations on the Breast Cancer Research Foundation. The Breast Cancer Research Foundation is dedicated to ending breast cancer by advancing the world's most promising research. Before you spend money on bits or subscriptions or whatever, instead click on the donate button or the link in chat. Go over. It'll take you straight to the donation page. Make a donation in our name, a friend's name, a loved one's name, whatever it is, whatever it takes. We recommend that is where you guys spend your money. It's the best way to spend it. We really appreciate you guys for that. And with that, we are done with the announcements. And you know what that means, right? We all know how the show goes. We're going to talk about the project. Parker, what you working on?
I am back on my themed bullshit, so I got this scary looking frost salamander, but it will not be painted like a frost salamander. It will instead be Halloween colors. Because last time I did a nightmare dragon in Halloween colors, so he looks like he has like a jack-o'-lantern-y looking face. Mm-hmm. So I am gonna paint him orange and black.
I love that mini. That's a very cool
mini. It's very cool.
Who is that? Is that WizKids?
Yeah. It's,
really?
It's from... I have the package. Nulzer's.
Yeah. Nulzer's, the sculpts are really good. I like that the base is on it. That's interesting. They've like built it all up.
A lot of them
together.
are. Yeah, a lot of them are.
I'm working on the Falling Star. Oh god, it's close, it's heavy, it's very big.
That was my ship.
Ah!
It's so good.
I'm working on the mizzen masts and so on and so forth right now. They need their rope, so I'm doing that. So that is my project. Abby, what are you working on?
I am working on a redesign of Mollymock from Critical Role. I'm gonna hold it up. We're gonna see if my computer... There we go. You can kind of see it. I've been on like a 6-month-long journey redesigning all of them, and I just have Molly and Ford left. So this is second to last.
I love gestures a whole lot. Make sure to go look at all of those on Instagram. That's my pitch.
Oh my god.
Go forth into the world.
That I have a place to go after the show. That is incredible. You are clearly a very skilled artist. So do you? This is completely unrelated to our questions, Parker. I'm sorry. Do you use like your Illustrator skills when you're like designing cosplays and stuff like that? Like, do you sketch things up?
Oh yeah, all the time. I am very much like of the mindset of there are no canon designs, there are only my designs. So I will redesign basically every character that I cosplay and just kind of put my own spin on it and add a bunch of rhinestones, because everything's better with rhinestones.
Mm-hmm.
That is my new life motto. Everything's better with rhinestones.
We were talking about... I think you and Button were talking about Brothos's like fancy outfit.
Yeah, we were.
Abby is who you should get to design Brothos's fancy outfit.
Oh my god. I put my barbarian, who doesn't usually wear a shirt and wears a metal kilt, in a big purple froofy outfit with juicy in rhinestones along the backside. Yeah.
Excellent. Peak character design.
Well, you know, I'm here. I do it for the people, really. Yeah. Anyway.
I love to see it.
Enough about my dumb decisions.
No.
Parker, I think your question's up.
It is. All right, so fun one to start. How did you get into D&D and TTRPG stuff? How'd you get into this craziness?
Well, like a lot of people, I started listening to the Adventure Zone way back in like 2016 when they were doing their balance campaign. Yes. And I used to listen to it. I commuted to school. I would take the train, that sort of thing. And then my senior year of high school, my high school had a Dungeons and Dragons campaign that was like forming in a club. And I was like, hey, I can do this. I have listened to a podcast and I joined it, and it has just kind of grown from there.
That is so cool. I like how a lot of us have kind of got that Taz background. That's good stuff. Okay.
I love it. I always, whenever I'm telling people, because I also, like, obviously, like, I got into D&D through my parents, because I've talked about that before, like, my dad, but I got reintroduced into D&D through Taz Balance, And whenever people talk to me about wanting to listen to like live play podcasts or D&D podcasts or like any of that, I'm like, okay, start with Taz so you can appreciate Taz before you go into Critical Role or like Dimension 20. Like, don't touch that until you've like appreciated what Taz is as it is, and then you can go on. Like, then you can expand from there. But it's a great launching point for people that are like, I just think it's cool. Like, Taz is great.
I was like the humor of Taz.
Yeah.
McElroys are funny dudes.
They're funny, and then they'll hit you with some of those like real hurt, and you're like, ooh, okay, well,
Yep.
Here we are.
So, have you cosplayed from? We are off the script today, but Abby, have you cosplayed anyone from Taz? Excuse my ignorance here.
Oh, yes. So many. I think I tallied it up like last November. I did like 22 different versions of Loop, which is like ridiculous.
Oh my god!
But their characters are just so good, and I love the freedom of being able to like kind of design anything and have it work and be canon, and we love to see it. We love some good D&D boys.
They are good. Loop is a cool aesthetic. Okay. So then, getting into kind of the D&D nitty-gritty questions, what's your favorite class to play and why?
Ooh, I am a druid stan through and through. I've played a bunch of different circles, and they just have like a special place in my heart forever. They weren't my first class, but they are definitely my favorite because they're so versatile. You can play healer, you can play tank, you can play spellcaster, you can go hit them with your stick really hard if you want to.
Oh my god. Yeah, druids are super fun. I find myself turning into a real fuck whenever I have a druid at my fingertips. Like, they're so good, and they're so annoying. They're amazing.
Josh, are you like, yeah, I'll play a druid, but like maybe you could not play one in my campaign? Is that your you're like, don't bring that at me, but like I'll do it.
Like, don't trust me with a druid. That's all I'm saying.
That's very funny.
That's awesome.
So let's see. Do you have a favorite race to play? Do you have one that you always lean towards?
Ooh, I am bisexual, so half-elves and tieflings tend to be my go-tos. I gotta have that experience. I would say probably if I had to pick between the two, definitely tieflings. Just from like an artist perspective, I love being able to like make my characters fully pink. That is a very good time for me.
Solid.
Fair.
I really want to see a fully pink half-elf now.
Just cause?
Just for funsies.
Just for funsies.
Just putting that out into the universe world.
That's actually...
I've had the thought of like, so you know, drow, like, we've kind of moved into drow being like light purple and gray now, but I'm just like, what if we had like bioluminescent drow? Like, what if like they live in the Underdark? Like, what if they were like mushrooms and they were like really cute and like had like little bioluminescent freckles? Like, don't give me access to drow in my own world. I will make them fucking cute as hell. Like,
mushroom dance. Mushroom dance.
Like, I'm just saying it would be really cute.
You're so right.
I want a bioluminescent little elf now. That's all I'm saying.
Aw. Okay. Well, I think that makes it my question, right? Okay, so you've kind of told us which class you really enjoy, which is your favorite. Is there a class you haven't gotten to try yet that you want to try, or one you'd like to revisit?
Yes, so we are doing a little spooky one-shot for Halloween over on Starlight Tales, and I am playing a melee class for the very first time. I'm playing an Echo Knight, and I'm very excited because it's just like a spicy fighter, and I feel like that will be very good energy.
Oh, Echo Knights are so cool. We love them. They're super strong and neat. That's awesome. What race is this Echo Knight?
Tiefling. I'm very predictable.
You're like still a tiefling. Had to stay sort of kind of like where in my wheelhouse.
I played right when the Echo Knight came out. I played an offline campaign, although we the DM had a kid, so we had to put it on hiatus. But I played an Echo Knight Tiefling in that, and it was very strong. I loved it. It was good
I'll
times.
have to come for you for pointers.
Anytime. Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, so we know that we like, stay in our bisexual wheelhouse with tieflings and half-elves. But is there a race you want to try? And may I suggest for you the pansexual Ganassi?
I have actually played a Ganassi, but I would absolutely play another one because their aesthetic is wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
The only race that I haven't tried, I think, is a changeling at this point, and I've just been saving it because I feel like it's very, very fun.
That's fair.
That is brilliant. Changelings are very cool.
Super valid.
So here's where we get into the real juicy of it. Here's where you give us your hot takes and anger everybody. So can you tell us your least favorite class to play and why?
Ooh. I'm not super picky. I have liked most classes I've played. The hardest definitely was Artificer because it had not gotten the rework that it just got. So I would say kind of by default that has to be it, just because my brain is the capacity of a dice set and that's it. So having to keep track of all of my different things was so much.
Too much think. Make stop, please.
Exactly.
Sometimes you just want to hit shit. That is valid.
So true. All right, continuing with hot takes. Least favorite race and why? Least favorite race to play, or one that you've just never really been interested in, or you said you've done all of them except Changeling, so which one were you this doesn't do it for me?
And this is the one question with a wrong answer. I'm just putting
It's
that
not. There's no wrong answer.
If I hear the D word, I riot.
Yeah, dick. You can't play a dick. That's it.
Yep, that's it.
That's Josh's
narratively, I don't have a least favorite. I think mechanically, no, just because I do like to zip around the map and they have kind of a shorter movement speed. But when telling a story, I don't think I've come across a specific origin that I'm oh, I'm never playing this ever again.
That's valid. That's valid.
Fair.
So, you obviously are a content creator in many different spheres and ways. What's your origin story for that? How'd you get into making content?
I was definitely a YouTube kid. I grew up very much online, and I think when I was around 11, that's when I really started cosplaying. I had gone to an anime convention with my dad, and I remember finding this small niche on YouTube of cosplayers who would vlog their processes and then also go to conventions and stuff, and that kind of put the idea in my brain of oh, I could do this too. I am 11, so I probably am going to have to wait 5 years, but once I get there, then I can do that.
Oh, that's
amazing.
Valid. And now you're here on D&D streams and cosplaying and all of that.
Yeah, it's wild.
All right, so we're almost to the end of our questions. So this is my reminder to chat. So we're going to open questions up to you guys. If you would, our mods are going to show you an example, but if you'll highlight them, it's easier, and Josh and I will be reading them off, probably me, because I
can't read.
That's not why, but but yeah, and if you don't have the channel points to highlight, don't worry, put your question out there, and one of our mods will most likely grab it for us. But just wanted to give that disclaimer before moving into our last one.
Thanks.
So, I know you're involved in a million things, but Abby, what's your biggest hobby outside of D&D?
By default, I think it's cosplay, though that has kind of spiraled into job territory also. A close second definitely would be video games. I have played a truly inappropriate amount of Genshin Impact over the last 6 months.
Dude, honestly, I got Josh into it.
I don't know. I'm healthy. I'm fine. I'm great. I don't have a problem.
We both sat. I went to visit Josh for the Colorado like Renaissance Festival. And every single day there was a time when his wife, and I would sit on our respective devices and play our dailies and not talk to each other. We would just be like, okay, here's our 30 minutes. We're just gonna do this, and then we'll be back. Very good.
Yeah, there were definitely a couple times, like, at the Ren Fair that, like, my friends and I sat down and were like, oh shit, we do have to play Genshin Impact at the Ren Fair.
I've done that a couple times in different places where I was just like, oh, am I doing this? Am I doing this? Is this what I'm doing? Is this what we're doing now?
I've been falling behind recently.
Really?
This banner is disinteresting to me.
Oh my god, this banner does not. If Child has one more rerun, I swear, everybody's like, they're doing it because they're gonna kill him, and I'm like, they're making me want them to. They're making me like, this is fine.
I've wanted to kill him since his stupid friendship quest. And anyone who likes Child, please don't get mad at me. Sorry.
And their 4-star, the 4 stars are the exact same as what was on Ayaka's banner, and I'm like, okay, this is just disinteresting. I know you're trying to distract us with the very hot yokai that you dropped today, but Genshin, listen, we need to talk about this. Anyway, I'm saving for my girl, so it's fine. Because Hutao's supposed to be after this. So.
Yeah.
Who?
Who? Like, who put me in this coffin? I love her. Anyway. I love her very much. I see some questions in chat, but also I just want to like have this one moment. So like a lot of the TTRPG space, and like I've told Josh this before, like a lot of me as a content creator was cosplaying and doing vocal stuff, and then like always liking D&D but not having anybody to play with until I somehow dragged Josh into loving me. So he likes me enough to DM for me every Saturday, and that's wonderful. But a lot of it was like not a thing, and I think it's very fun because I have friends like Abby who like I met before I was in I think before either of us was in these spaces, and then I got to be like, hey, come over here to this also corner of the internet, like over here. And just like a thing that I will always remember is I did back little baby content creator me back when I hit 25K on TikTok. I did this tells you a little bit about me. I did a like TikTok live, and then Abby sent me a little doodle of me from my TikTok live, like sent me a little picture that she had like drawn of me, and I was like, oh my god, this is the best thing in the world. And that's how Abby and I became friends.
Aww.
It was a very good time. I fully enjoyed it. But it's so funny, and I still have like a screenshot of the little doodle of me. It's very cute. I keep every piece of fan art that anybody has ever done. I'm like, here you go. All right, so let's see. Commune DM asked, how much does your art influence TTRPG characters or vice versa?
Good question.
Definitely a lot. They are very much interlinked. Like, before I do any sort of backstory, any character sheet, most of the time I will visually design the character first, because that just kind of helps me figure out what direction I want to go and how exactly I want to play them. So a lot of times I'll do like a little sketch of a design, then I'll go and do the character sheet, do backstory stuff, come back and fine tune it, and then I talk about my OCs forever because they're all my children and I love them.
Yep. I feel that on a spiritual level. So off of that question, so for instance, like is there always like one thing that influences like how you make a character? Because like I know for me, like a bunch of things have been the inciting incident, and I'm wondering like with you being an artist, is it like, oh, this one feature or this one thing? Because like I have a character that like I bought a pair of horns that my friend made that are like these gorgeous horns, and I was like, I'm making an entire character off of this aesthetic, this, and then I'll create the rest of it. And I was like, this is what I'm doing. And I, of course, you know me.
Oh yeah, 100%. I very much base my characters off of like media characters that already exist, and then kind of expand them into their own things. But I will see like fan art or cosplays or things and be like, oh, that vest is really cool. I love that. I will build a character off of that.
Yeah, that's super fair. Let's see.
The best way to do it, honestly.
Yeah. Reed Barkowitz asked, where do you get inspiration for your art? Where do you get inspiration for your TTRPG characters? So I guess we kind of branched into that a little bit, but like, where do you go looking for inspiration? Do you have 1,000 Pinterest boards? I do.
I am unfortunately not adept at Pinterest. I made my first board for a character the other day through the help of the cast over at Starlight Tales.
Listen,
I
once you get it down, it's so good.
It is. It was so much easier than I thought it was going to be because I thought it was going to be really confusing.
It's too easy. You'll dive into a Pinterest hole and you'll wake up 3 months later and
with a whole setting for your second campaign. Josh?
Shut up, Parker.
Oh well.
Don't you come
I have
for me.
Pinterest boards for every single one of my characters. It's very fun.
That's so valid. I actually started with making Tumblr blogs for my characters, like way back in the day, so they do exist. You still can find them. But that's still kind of my preferred way to compile like all my references because my brain is working better when it's all in one place and I can just scroll.
Tumblr,
Fair.
I hear so many people in that, like, in our space, like, reference Tumblr, and it's something that I just missed completely. Like, it's not I know it's, like, this, like, good spot for, like, publishing, like, your fan art and things like that, but I was never a Tumblr kid. Like, it just flew past me.
Tumblr also went through phases. Like, Tumblr went through, like, the golden age, and then it died, and then it came sort of back, but not really. Like, it did, like, a lot of weird shit. Like, I had a cosplay Tumblr before I had a cosplay Instagram. Like, it was like, yeah, like, Tumblr was a weird time.
I hate to say this about myself. I think I might have just been a little too old for Tumblr.
Listen, you're allowed to say that. I was not allowed to say that.
Thank you. Thank you for not saying it and letting me get to it, Parker. The amount of respect you have for my emotional sensitivity is much appreciated.
You're welcome.
I was like, I was thinking about your answer, and I was like, wait a minute, I know the answer to this question, and I don't like it.
Here's the thing, you had to, because here's the thing, you might not have missed Tumblr if it hadn't had that dip, but I think you missed the golden age, so you have no reason to go back to it.
Gotcha,
the people that use Tumblr now are us being like, yes, Tumblr. Like, I go on there every once in a while, and I'm like, yes, I forgot, I liked this once.
This was a thing.
Before Tumblr took a deep end and decided to take all the porn off of it, and that's why it... So. That's literally what happened.
That's why Tumblr's bad, no porn?
It's not why it's bad, it's just why, like, it, like, messed with a lot of, like, artists and
it's
things like that.
So, like, the lewds and stuff like that are...
And censored, and just, it was a whole thing. I was in college when that happened, because I remember talking about it in my journalism class. Them being like, this is what happens to companies when, and I was like, oh, okay.
When you lose sight of what you do.
Yeah. Going off a little bit of the question that we just had, Abby, do you do character playlists? Do you do Spotify playlists?
Ooh, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yes. I am a YouTube Premium user, which drives my sister insane. I don't actually use Spotify, but I have so many playlists. It's ridiculous.
I love that. Okay, let's see. Commune said, question, as a druid stan, what is your favorite wild shape?
Yes.
A good question. A wonderful question.
This one's tough. I think in my current campaign, probably Panther right now, because my druid is pink, so when she wild shapes, she becomes Pink Panther.
I love that.
And I think that's very funny, very good. And also...
You sing the theme when it happens.
Dnd
Does that happen?
Not. I think I would be kicked off the show, but I could probably do it like once or twice.
Yeah.
I think you can get away with it.
I believe in you.
I think if they get mad at you, send them to us, and we'll be like, it's our fault.
Don't actually do that. I answer the emails.
Tell them Parkerbliss said I could do this.
That was it. Yeah, absolutely. Yes. That's absolutely what happened. Absolutely.
I'm in a really feral mood today. I'm sorry,
You
guys.
are. It's a good time.
Starting
It's a
fights
Monday.
with nobody.
You're like, hi, people we've never met. Fight me. Got this opinion. That's very funny, though. Let's see. Commune also asked, are there any artists, creators, or media that have inspired you to create, and what are they? So, like, what are your biggest, like, inspirations?
Definitely TTRPG shows. I love Critical Role. I really loved EXU. That kind of like sparked a whole other realm of creative fire in my brain. Taz, of course. I am a huge reader. I also work a little bit in YA fiction, so that has like a special place in my heart forever and always. I will always, go through the Barnes and Noble aisle and see what YA fantasy novels are there, and if anything piques my interest. And I do watch a lot of anime.
Valid.
Any animes you're watching right now that you recommend?
Ooh, yes. Let me pull up like my Crunchyroll queue.
I always know when people bring up
Blessing.
anime, this is the question.
It's fair.
I definitely prefer slice of life. That's kind of my go-to genre. So right now I'm
Can I admit
watching,
something to you? Me too.
It's just so good.
Yeah.
It's a good, feel-good time.
It's wholesome. It makes me happy.
Exactly.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt your answer.
Oh no, you're so good. I love talking about slice of life. That's like my secret passion. But I'm watching the 5th season of Love Live because idol costumes are always so good. And then I'm watching the Aquatope on White Sand, which is like this really gorgeous show set in... Oh, the name is escaping me. It's an island off the coast of Japan, but it's about 2 girls working in an aquarium, and the visuals are just stunning and make my illustrator heart so happy.
Cute.
It's very good.
I love that.
I do this thing with anime where like I will not watch anime for like weeks, and then I'll sit down and for like 4 or 5 days like just binge anime that I've been putting off because like I have to be in a specific mindset to sit there and watch. And it's so good. I just started the case study of Vanitas, which is very good, and then Moriarty the Patriot. I need to watch the 2nd season of that, but it's also very good. I like retelling of stories. I also am now curious if you have books that you would recommend.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, I feel like I'm obligated. I recently did a piece for The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab, so if you buy the illustrated edition, you can buy my piece in it, which is pretty cool. But it is also a truly fantastic novel. I love it. I cried so much at the end, but like in the best way. I'm super into high fantasy stuff. Aragon will always be one that I return to. I really loved Raybear. That was one of the new ones that I read last year, and that was super good and had some really lovely world building in it.
Nice.
That's awesome.
I was watching a clip from like the interview with Matthew Mercer and Brennan Lee Mulligan, and they were talking about how like when Brennan Lee Mulligan said something to the effect of like, when I was younger, if I opened a fantasy book and it didn't have a map in the front, I knew I wasn't going to enjoy it. And I'm like, why is that so right?
That's
like,
such a move.
Like, why was I was watching very casually on TikTok and it came up and I was like, why do I feel so seen? I was like, why do I know what that feels like? I was like, oh, yeah, you're right. Oops.
Oh.
You know, they were talking about like how like DMing and stuff, and I was like, you know what? Yeah. And then all of that variety of nerd grew up to make our own worlds and our own maps where we go do those things. But I was like, yes, it's the book with the map in the front's fault.
It is.
I love map making. That's the best. Do you have a homebrew world? Do you like GM or DM at all, Abby? Is that something you're interested in?
not.
No.
I am far too anxious. I have just kind of broken out of my shell to be like a player. In my first couple games, like way back in the day, like I did not speak at all. I'm very much an introvert and very shy, so I'm slowly working my way up to maybe one day DMing. I made a tweet the other day about how I want to DM a session.
I saw that tweet.
Customer service voice for your character.
I saw that tweet, and I don't know if you saw my response, but I literally said, "This is my resume. I worked at Walt Disney World." I was like, I volunteer. I worked at Walt Disney World during the holiday season. I would like to play this, please.
Oh,
That's so good.
Or everybody's character voice is their customer service voice is such a wonderful thing.
Yeah.
That was Abby.
I saw that tweet. That's very good.
God, that would be so good. I don't even know what the premise for that would be. Like, what the point? I love it. Would it just? Are you thinking like a regular game, and they just use those voices, or what? Did you have an idea? What were you thinking?
It's either like they work in the shop that all the adventurers come into and have to deal with the adventuring parties that are going out, or it is just like a standard like high fantasy setting, and they just talk like that and interact with all the NPCs, and everyone's kind of like, all right, sounds good.
You're weird.
You're unfortunate. I love the idea that they work in that shop with and have to deal with adventurers. We had a similar sort of idea when we had Witchy Brew, my friend Amanda, on Highlight Heroes, but we were saying that you should have a party that plays as the monsters in the cave that they fight, that the adventurers fight, and it was just a very like cute idea. Like,
oh good.
Somebody just keeps crashing into your like apartment and you're like, leave? Now?
Ugh, that's awesome.
It's very good. It's a very fun idea.
Yeah. Well, I hope you DM one day. I'm sure you do a phenomenal job.
Fingers crossed.
I understand the amount of anxiety that is. Absolutely. And I think also, like, I can't remember if this was on a show when we were talking about it or not, but it might have been on, like, Commune's channel when we did Bertome Brunch, but I, as somebody who, like, also is very anxious and, like, grew up as, like, the player, I think I envy people who got put in that Dungeon Master role immediately because you didn't have the chance to feel anxious about it. Like, or if you did, like, the people, not necessarily, like, just put in there, but, like, the people that were learning together, there wasn't that, like, weird expectation of knowing everything, I feel like. Where, like, if you're, like, the eternal player who gets to be DM'd by all of these amazing people, especially, like, on streams, and then you have to be like, right, I'm gonna do that. Like, it's just this weird, like, balance of, like, I have so many great people to look up to. And it's not even, like, the Matthew Mercer, Brennan Lee Mulligan, like, sort of effect. It's literally, like, these are my friends. Like, I hang out with Josh and Sean. I run this channel with them all the time. And I also watch them DM every weekend. And I go, oh, no. Oh. I'm like, I don't know about that. I'm like,
I mean,
so, I get it.
I'm a constantly anxious being.
You are.
Anyway, so it's more about compartmentalizing.
Like, if I just don't give myself the chance.
I just squash it all down deep inside and forge
Very
ahead.
healthy.
Yeah,
Super
you know,
healthy.
like any well-adjusted adult.
All right, we have another question. Commune says, do you have a favorite spell? Bonus points if you also have a favorite cantrip.
Yes. I love Moonbeam, going along with my druid love. I love the flavor of it, and I just think it's very pretty and very deadly, which fits very well with all of my characters.
Fair.
That is a great spell. That's a really good spell.
Do you have a favorite cantrip?
Oof. I have to remember their names. I like Light because I feel like you can kind of do some fun stuff with it, like some very dramatic moments. I also love a good druid craft. I am a Vax'ildan stan at the end of the day.
Yeah. Gosh.
People make light of light as a cantrip, but it's very good.
It is very good. I always say that
Thank you for laughing.
in real life would want prestidigitation.
That's a solid one.
But also part of me loves vicious mockery. Like, I love a backhanded comment that literally hurts. I love that for them. Like, I gave my bard vicious mockery just because everybody was like, she needs it mechanically because she always is sassy. And I was like, yes, I've not once used it.
I would 100% take mending. Mending from a like logistical perspective is bloody brilliant.
I love that.
My glasses broke. Mending.
Mending.
Oh, I ripped my pants. Mending.
It is very like. That's fair.
It's very utilitarian, yeah.
I think Salvatore's the only one that has mending in our party, and I know that he's used it.
It's trickier in D&D because you always want to use it for like in a like crunch time, and it's a very like small thing spell.
Tiny area.
Yeah, it's not a like it's more useful in real life than it is in Dungeons and Dragons. It's one of those sorts of spells, which is.
I think if I'm remembering correctly, Salvatore spent like the entire day mending parts of sails.
Oh, that sounds about right.
Correctly, and I was like, yes.
I think he put some bits of paper back together too.
Let's see.
Been there?
Yep.
Oh yeah, he did the burned thing.
Yeah.
Is there a magical item if you could have in real life? What is it? Is there a magical item you would want in real life?
Anything that is like enchanted with disguise self, because it would make cosplay so much easier. Like, you just do your makeup, not have to do a wig, make the whole garment, no
glamored armor.
Glamored
armor's great.
Exactly.
My girl sits at her armor class at 14, and I'm like, it's never gonna change. Like, I would love to be able to be like, she'll definitely switch it out for a higher. No, she won't. Like, she likes being able to have a Cinderella moment whenever she wants. Like, she's not gonna do it. Also, it saves her tons of money because the party buys clothes and she goes, I'll wear this.
Parker did this very funny thing where she role-played Demi walking through a clothing store stealing designs for later use because she's got keen mind as well, which was just the most amazingly abusive use of those abilities I've ever seen. It was very funny.
You know what? It's being fiscally responsible. She does hold the coin purse. It's an investment.
Fiscally responsible. I love that.
Exactly.
She does her best, you know? She'll let everybody else spend like hundreds of coins on like clothes, and she's like, I like that outfit, and she'll walk 15 feet the other way and turn into it. It's fine. She puts her own flair on it. She had a little Cinderella moment when they went to the court, and that was fun.
I love her.
She's my baby. I love her very dearly.
The blue bean.
A berry blue bean. Her blue dragon. It's my favorite thing in the entire world. So now, because I'm very curious and we are paused on questions in chat, I would love to hear you talk about your character that you play in this space pirate campaign.
Yes, tell us.
I want to know all about her because I've seen her, but I want to hear about her.
Definitely. So I play V. She is a tiefling druid of the grassland. She died once and had no idea what happened. She recently found out, and she's kind of going through like sort of a Hades and Persephone type arc right now. It's very fun, very good. There's a lot of drama. We have this really like incredible world that Lorcan, our DM, has homebrewed, where it is set in space and there is kind of like that sci-fi aspect, but it still is a high fantasy setting. So all the different planets we're going to are still within kind of like that Faerun type aesthetic, and it's a good time. The cast is hilarious. I literally snapped the strings on my corset 2 sessions ago because I laughed so much, and it is wonderful.
That's what you want to hear.
That's That's fantastic.
We did have another question just pop into chat, and it is from your newfound dad. Mounted combat. Have you ever ran a game or played a character in a game that had a major use of mounted combat? If so, how was the terrain usage ruled with speed? Wow, this is a highly mechanical question, but tell us, have you ever done any sort of mounted combat stuff?
I have not. I am very allergic to horses in real life, so I have not ever had a horse in D&D, which I probably should, so I can live my horse girl vicarious experience. But if I had to choose a mount, I would probably do some type of dragon equivalent. I think that aesthetic is very good.
Oh yeah, that is very strong. So this question, I guess I have done some mounted combat stuff. In fact, one of my first D&D 5e characters, and this is I'm gonna share this because it's unrelated to the interview, but it is related to CC. There is a location in Greyhawk called the Thungfriend Academy, and that is named after my first D&D 5e character, Crag Thungfriend, who was a dwarf cavalier who rode a bear that he had raised as from a cub into battle. The bear's name was Lisi, and terrain usage. I mean, it's really the same. If you've got rougher terrain, it's just the mount's rough terrain usage, right? Depending on the mount. If you've gone and done something cool, I homebrew things with mounts all the time. We've used mounts in CC where I made Ultuks, which were giant armadillos that had specialized mobility under terrain and things like that. But yeah, Crag was my baby, and he was very sad. He actually lost Lisi, and his introduction to the campaign, he was just a regular fighter and had the cavalier traits and didn't have his mount and was looking for his mount because he had lost his cavalier comrades in an ambush and fallen into a depression and started gambling and had lost Lisi gambling, and was now trying to redeem himself and find his bear mount. That was his whole thing. So that was completely unrelated to the interview, but I liked the question. And Cavaliers are viciously underrated in D&D, and more people should play them. They're amazingly good.
Did you say that was in Greyhawk?
In Greyhawk, there is a place called the Thungfriend Academy. It's on the map.
And we didn't go there because I assumed it was
unrelated. Yeah. There's a character there named Crag, and he runs that Adventurers Academy many years later. Because I think the really cool thing about DMing is that you get to take all of these characters that you've seen in the past and just interlace them into your own world. You know what I mean? And make them canon. That's cool.
That honestly is such a cool thing that DMs get to do, because there's so many characters I know, either one-shot characters or we've all had campaigns fall through before, where you have characters that you don't get to know the end of the story, and it's so sad. And so DMing and getting to put them somewhere, you get to be oh, this is where they went and this is what they're doing now, and I get to decide, because that story didn't end. And I think that's very, very fun. I was thinking about one of my characters earlier today, and I was I wonder what happened to her.
I adore that sort of thing. My homebrew world that I'm setting up for the CC group when we all finish in Greyhawk has a long storied history of people playing in it. So there's a lot of characters floating around in that one, from one-shots on the Tweet channel and from my campaigns that I ran at home before this. And I look forward to introducing them to people. So
I've got 3 tieflings in that world.
You do have a lot of tieflings in that world.
I don't know how I always end up playing tieflings for your one-shots, but I do.
Well, it's it's a good aesthetic.
It's a good aesthetic.
Like we've established in today's interview.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, any other questions or things we want to discuss? Chat, this is your last chance. We are nearing the hour here, so we're getting close to that end. But yeah, I love all these. In chat, we're seeing a lot of folks sharing about character concepts, and I love it. That's super fun and super neat. We love anyone who plays D&D loves a good character concept. Do you? I tell you what. Here's a question for you, Abby. Do you have a character concept in your brain, in your character bank that you haven't yet manifested that you'd be willing to share with us?
Yeah, I have one half of a set of twins with my friend Allie. We have the concepts for them. We've cosplayed them, but they have like no lore and no campaign. But their names are Vice and Virtue, which I think is very fun and very
That's
good.
very good. That is very, very good. Oh my god. You got like a paladin and a rogue or something too? Like lean into those class? Or are you like...
I think I think we decided on Warlock and Monk. We
Oh, that's
tried to go
beautiful.
two completely different directions.
I love that so much.
I have only ever played one twin, and I played it with Button on a one shot, on a cosplay ground one shot, and it was so much fun. We played Kalishtar twins that could like talk to each other, obviously. And it was just very, very fun to have like all of these things that we were like, okay, we can have like code names for things and like shit that nobody else knows. And like it's just so cool. Like I have honestly not had that many experiences playing in a game where like you have a close connection with one character starting. And it's just such a cool thing to think about.
It is very fun. We've got one more question. I think maybe that's our final question for the evening, and that comes from our good friend Community DM, who asks, and this is very good because we've all got archetypes that we fall into. But do you have a character archetype that you go for? So you've already said bisexual tiefling, right? But do you have he's for example, he often plays a sad hot boy. We can confirm this.
It's true.
I usually play soft sad dad. Right?
What do I play, Josh? What do I play?
Hey, Parker,
Go ahead.
you play cold, authoritative with deep-seated anxiety.
I need you to say I play myself.
Parker, no,
Yeah,
no,
nice.
I know. Oh, no,
I know.
I didn't mean to call you out.
I do play authoritative and anxious very much.
You do it very well. And let's not pretend that Alec and I are not playing ourselves when we talk about our archetypes, right?
Oh my god.
So anyway, back to you, Abby. Your archetype, please.
I have two. I also have soft and sad, and then I have mad and hot. So V is a prime example of soft and sad. Mad and hot is my rogue who started out as the Raven Queen and then got kicked out of the Celestial Plane and is now a half-elf, and she's real pissed about it.
Ooh, we love Mad and Hot. We do. Mad and
Hot is a very fun
always
one.
good. Always good. Oh my gosh. Well, guys, we're nearing the top of the hour. Perfect timing. We're going to close out here in a second, but stay with us before we do, because Abby, tell the people where they can find you and what you're doing.
Yeah, you can find me anywhere on the internet at Aeipathea. I'm on Twitter, I'm on Instagram, I'm unfortunately on Tumblr, also on TikTok, and then you can find me every Saturday at Starlight Tales playing the lovely Tiefling Druid V in our Persistent Space campaign.
Guys, go check out Starlight Tales. They're good folks. Highly recommend.
Good folks.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do some quick announcements, and we're gonna right into somebody. But first, huge thank you to our partners, Soundtail, who bring all that cool ambiance to our games. We just got a little background noise here, but we love them for it. You can get a copy of that application for yourselves. Click on the link in chat right now and download it, purchase it, use it. It's very good. We highly recommend it. Parker, over to you.
I'm here to tell you guys that we're affiliated with Found Familiar Coffee. If you'd like 10% off, you can use the code in chat or the link. We're also affiliated with Crafty Gamer. They do a wonderful series of candles for immersive D&D experiences called Aromas of Adventure. They also do a lot of other fun things, so you can use the code in chat for that as well. And then a big shout out to Arcane Anthems, who does TTRPG music free over on his Patreon. He actually did all of the theme songs for our campaigns and our inn, so go check him out. And that's all.
And of course, a huge thank you to our mods, who I fought with today, but only lovingly because they're fantastic and wonderful, and we would be lost without them. Community DM managing the channel today, we really appreciate you, and all of our mods keep our community safe and wonderful. We love you guys for it. And with that, one more thank you to Abby. You were awesome. Thank you. Okay, everybody.
Thank you for having me on. It was such a pleasure.
Yeah.
A delight. All right, guys,
Do
stick
we want
with
to
us.
show what we did?
Oh my god, I forgot that. Yeah, please share.
Yeah.
Parker, what do you got?
I just painted the bottom and his feet. That's it.
Nice, valid. I got most of the cross beams done. The only thing left is this, just one end right here, but there's a whole lot of these finished. So boom.
Yeah.
Okay, Abby, show us what you got. What you got?
All right, I finished up Molly and I began the form process.
Whoa.
So he's got some cool armor now.
God, that's gorgeous.
That's amazing.
Wow.
Cute.
I'm excited to see that.
Good lord. Good lord. Okay, now we're gonna go, guys.
Now
Stay
we're
with
gonna
us.
go.
We'll rate somebody. Goodbye and thank you, Abby.
Bye.
All right, you are.